Hello, Angela Watkins Francis here, the power of Marrsing, author of The Power of Marrsing. Now, remember, as you may remember, if you've not, this is your first video, Marrsing means the commitment to the individual self that we have within our individual self. So really, the power of Marrsing is tapping into your individual consciousness as you navigate and find out who we are in self, what the uniqueness and the greatness we have, and how we bring those uniqueness and greatness into the relationships that we have, the committed relationships specifically. Now, again, Angela Watkins Francis here, the power of Marrsing. All right, good. I'm glad you're able to join us today. And today for the reading, I did an introduction again in terms of the word. I created the word Marrsing from MARR, meaning commitments in our marriage, and SING from the single individual self. Not a relationship status, it's who we are within ourselves, all the traits, all the emotions, all the experiences that we bring out, and how we live our life and how we show up in relationships. But understanding that the very first relationship and the most important relationship is the one that we have with ourselves. And that self relationship is what's most important. That's what we have to take care of. And once we take care of that relationship, we will be able to have better relationships with someone else. Now I see my hand, I have Enna tattoo on my hand here that I did while I was away on vacation. It was quite an experience. And so it's fading after 3 days. So my hands look a little different from they usually do. But that's because I have a temporary henna tattoo made of flowers and had sparkles on it. It made me feel like I was a part of the culture by getting the henna tattoo. Now, to go on to the book here again, The Power of Marrsing. I have it written here. Angela Francis, author of The Power of Marrsing, tapping into your individual consciousness. And it's really about understanding how our purpose, power, and passion within the individual self, who we are as a one person in that relationship, we are responsible for the emotions that we feel in that relationship. And so those relationships, those emotions, all that's in us, it influences and defines how we show up in the commitments that we make in those relationships and marriages. But first, influences how we show up in ourselves. You know, we have two individuals who get together, and one individual, a spendthrift in a relationship, the other one is, I don't want to say a miser, but is a little more money conscious in how they spend their money. And so all those, sometimes we don't think about them, but all those come from the experiences that each of us have had, whether it be the family traits, the knowledge and wisdom that was given to us by the parents, the guardians, the people around us in our environment, how we grew up. All those influences come from somewhere. And sometimes when we don't know where they come from and we continue to do them, even when they're not serving us, then that makes it sometimes an unhealthy relationship with ourself first, and then we sprout that unhealthiness into the relationship that we have with someone else. I am passionate about us having better relationships, and I know that having better relationships starts with having a better relationship with ourself first. We, the individual, have all the power within us to have the relationships that we want. But first we have to tap into who we are. Know what our likes are, what our dislikes are. Why do we dislike something? And how can we change that? I'll tell you a scenario. I was traveling on a flight once and I sat beside this lady and she came on with her bag of chips. And she was crunching away, and the bag of chips was, I had this annoying thoughts and like, why is she annoying me? That is so annoying. And I looked over at her and I noticed that this lady was just enjoying her chips. She was just eating away, just, with no care in the world, couldn't care less that I was looking or that I was sitting next to her. She was just so engrossed in enjoying her chips. And I said to myself, Angela, why are you getting upset? The lady's enjoying her chips. What does that have to do with you? If you don't want to hear the sound, I have the choice at that point to either move, put some headphones, some noise cancelling headphones over my head, or find something to tune it out. Her having her chips and enjoying her chips had nothing to do with me. I was the one who was creating that interpretation of annoyance in my thoughts and having those feelings come out and those emotions and and if you follow that and allow those thoughts, which I call negative thoughts really, right, to continue to go on, they'd start saying, oh, I don't like this woman because she's making that noise with that chips. And the poor woman had nothing to do with me. She was just enjoying her chips. And we just want to enjoy life, don't we? Each and every one of us have different preferences, different things that we like. And what we have to do, first of all, as individual, recognize what are the things that we like. Why do we like them? That if someone comes to you and say, oh, you like the color blue? Nobody likes the color blue. You can stand firmly and say, that's okay if nobody else likes the color blue. I like the color blue. And you don't even have to give an explanation. Or sometimes you just say, that's okay. Because we don't need to argue with someone else about what they think. Their thoughts are as valid as our thoughts. Right? If someone thinks that something is ugly, something is pretty, those are their thoughts. And if they share them with us, because I realize that's how we get in arguments. We try to convince someone that their feelings and their thoughts are wrong. In actuality, it's not wrong. It's not wrong, and we do that. And when I talk and I go through all this, it's about me gaining wisdom as I go, understanding that we can save ourselves so much turmoil, so much frustration by understanding and recognizing and that someone else has the right, has the ability, has the opportunity to really choose what they like, to express what they want. And if someone is expressing something to us that we don't like, we can either say to them in the most calmly, nicely way, that's not easy, believe me, that is a challenge. But I know if we start thinking that that's what we're going to do, if it happens 5 times, then maybe at least one time we can restrain ourselves and say, you know what? I'm not even going to answer. Those are their thoughts, not mine, and I'm not going to take it in. It's a journey. Marrsing life is a journey. It's a journey and an experience, because every day that we are good, we try to get better. Try to get better, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is better and your better is best. Now, I learned that in primary school as I was growing up, and it has never left me. It's always something that I use, those superlatives, right? That who we are today should be the only person we're competing with. The only other entity that we're competing with as an individual self is the person we were yesterday. So we can be a better person today, and we can look towards living a best future self. Remember, we're all unique. We all have special qualities. Greatness, I call it, or greatness within, or uniqueness is what makes us great. Do not allow someone else to diminish your greatness. Don't allow it. And it's not always easy, but little by little, remember, it's good, better, best. We don't get to our best life just by waking up every day and say, today is going to be my best life. The challenges. Challenges just like muscles, and you work them. When you work through them, you get stronger and you get wiser. And we get better by going through the challenges that we have in life, the things that we don't like so well. But we understand that all these challenges are opportunities for us to make changes, to seek wisdom, to seek understanding, and to grow in knowledge. Expand our horizon, because it's an indication that something needs to change. Whenever we have challenges, it means there has to be a change. Remember, all that we need in this life is really deep within us in order to navigate the challenges. Having creative ideas, we all have different brains. Our brains work different ways, and some of us are more creative, some of us are more analytical. But I say, this world, we're all needed. And once we find what our purpose is, and we can have many purposes in life, but as long as we have something that we're working towards and we're living towards, and we get to that by understanding who we are. And I say the Marrsing dig, I consistently say that. The Marrsing dig, deep inner gratitude, understanding where our traits, where our passions, where our likes or dislikes, all the things that come together to make us who we are, all the experiences that we've had, the childhood experiences, whether they were negative or positive, we can change those. We can really, really work on changing them. Sometimes we can't do them all by ourselves. We might need professional help, whether it be a therapist, a coach, someone who can help us, a professional who can help us along the way. I suggest getting a professional to help us for those challenges that seem too big for us, too daunting for us, to help us to dig within, to help to find our power. Our power is our capability. How do we do it consciously? How do we love consciously? And when we start loving consciously, we get to develop this passion and compassion within ourselves to fill us up so we can share with someone else. And I always say, when we make space, when we have enough to give away and still have enough for ourselves, that's when we're able to share generously. Share generously through your power. First of all, the purpose, what you decide to do and how you live your life. And then through your power, your capabilities, how you love consciously, the deep thoughts, the deep things that are within us, and passion. Sharing generously what we have, knowing that everything that happens to us in life happens for a reason. You have to find that reason. And I want to help you find that reason. As I've found a couple of reasons along the way, I want to share those reasons with you so that you may be inspired, you may be motivated to actually find your own path, find your own greatness, find your own uniqueness, and just honor that. Honor it in a way that empowers you, gives you that self-confidence to know that no matter what happens in life, you've been equipped and you've been given the tools. And if you can't find the tools, please seek help to help you find the tools. There are lots of coaches, as I said before, there are lots of coaches and there are lots of therapists. And there are other professionals who can help to guide you to find the gem of who you are. Remember, diamonds have to be digged for. Treasures, we dig for treasures. And gems, we have to dig for them. You all have treasures within you. You're a treasure. You're a gem. You're a diamond. But we have to go through the challenges to unveil all that beauty, all that uniqueness, all that treasure. Come along on the Marrsing journey. Come along and live a Marrsing life. Come along. It's a continuous living, a continuous journey of getting from our good to our better, to our best life. And all that is in the future self. So if we live in the moment for today, we enjoy who we are, the good person, the better person, as we work on the becoming our best. Again, I am Angela Watkins Francis, and I am the author of The Power of Marrsing. And I want to take you on this journey, knowing that you have the power within you to achieve the purpose that you'd want to achieve if you apply the passion that it requires. Have a wonderful Marrsing day.